Okay, we got the Benzes right now, so today's segment of Fantasy Sports brought to you by the ballparksweaters.com. If you're looking for something great for your wife, your girlfriend, or your child, go to ballparksweaters.com. Nice little gift for the women out there. And, guys, how are you doing today?
We're doing great.
Yeah. Okay, so you got a special guest that's joining us.
We do. We have Julie Dorenbos, who is the wife of the Philadelphia Eagles Pro Bowl long snapper John Dorenbos, and she is a member of our Football's Hottest Wives finalists for the 2011-2012 season.
Voter number one.
Yeah, these guys have been on all morning long, and so, I'm sure that if you go to SpadoraOnSports.com, we'll have some information about Julie up on the website. And how are you doing today, Julie?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're hanging in there. How is it to be one of the hottest wives of football? To be noted as one of the panelists, one of the contestants in the Hottest Wives contest.
I mean, it feels great. All the other girls are absolutely gorgeous. I'm in very good company, so it's nice and it's an honor.
Yeah, well, there you go. Of course, if you want to take a look at Julie, you can go to fantasyfootballsidelights.com. They're doing the fantasy football's hottest wives. And it's not fantasy, I shouldn't say. It's football's hottest wives, and you can vote on there. And who knows? Maybe we got to take a break, guys, and Julie, and we're going to bring you right back, and maybe we can get some predictions or some tips of fantasy football from Julie. You're listening to Spadora on Sports. We'll be right back. Sorry, guys, we had to cut out because of commercials. We're close to the 40,
Okay, so we're just going to have one segment after this then?
Yeah, we're going to go right into it, and I'll keep you here a few minutes longer, Shank.
Okay, so Jonathan should be quick on his fantasy football tips, and then we'll go to Julie. Is that the plan?
That's right. That sounds good.
I already clicked like 6 times already. Can't click anymore.
He can't click anymore.
I'm voting right now. My fingers stop.
Julie, do you like it when people that work for me, basically, they've had every computer up all morning voting for you?
Oh, wow. That's great.
So, I'm just not
beautiful.
If you weren't married, I'm sure you get a couple of proposals right now.
Oh, well, let's go. I'll take all the votes I can get.
There you go. But when we come back, we'll talk more about you and your husband and stuff like that. And Bob and John, we appreciate you bringing here on Spadora on Sports. Of course, we're in the fantasy sports segment with the Benzes. Of course, we have a guest. And Bob, where do you want to go with this? You want to get into talking fantasy football and things like that before we bring Julie back on?
Well, I know the listeners out there probably want to hear more from Julie than they do from me and Jonathan. So I thought maybe Jonathan would give some quick tips, because this is kind of the last week of fantasy football until we get into the playoffs. And then, you can give the listeners what they really want, which is a chance to hear from Julie.
Okay, John, let's run right through. Go ahead.
Let's see, how quick can I go through this?
You got 2 minutes. You got a minute.
2 minutes.
Now. You got a minute.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
We want to give Julie another minute. Go ahead.
Well, hey, the Texans have signed. The Texans obviously have quarterback problems. They've had quarterback problems for a couple weeks now. Earlier this week, they signed Jake Delhomme. I don't know if that's any better than what they have, but from a fantasy perspective, if for some reason you want to roll with a Texans quarterback, Jake Delhomme might not be your guy this week, but he's going to be your guy probably moving forward into the playoffs. Real quick running back notes. Roy Halou from Washington has locked up the starting spot there. He's available in 35% of leagues. If you can get him, go do it, especially heading into playoff time. C.J. Spiller, Fred Jackson in Buffalo, is on IR. He's been out for a couple weeks now. Looks like C.J. Spiller is going to be the starting running back there. So start him. He's probably worth a grab, worth more maybe even than Roy Halou. One other quick running back note, Adrian Peterson got nicked up last week. Doesn't look like he's going to go this week. So if you're looking for a running back to start in place of AP, Toby Gerhart is going to be the guy to go from Minnesota. So running backs real quick to pick up this week, Roy Halou, C.J. Spiller, and Toby Gerhart. So there's your quick fantasy football notes for Week 13. Good luck in your matchups.
Okay, Julie Dorenbos joining us here. Of course, your husband, John, long snapper for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's Pro Bowler. And I guess in a roundabout way, Bob, how is Julie doing with the ballots?
Well, she's off to an amazing start. She's actually in the lead, and when you consider the bevy of beautiful women that we have in football's hottest wives, including Victoria's Secret model Gisele Bündchen, who is Tom Brady's wife, that's quite a statement.
Wow.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody out there voting for me. That's huge.
Yeah. Well, do you have any advice for us guys out there that have basically, including my crew here, Julie, that has voted for you several times while we even doing the interview? Any advice on fantasy football that you want to give to them?
I want to keep all my fantasy football tips to myself. I'm not going to share anything, I don't think.
Okay.
I think.
Go ahead.
I mean, I always say, everybody, no matter week to week, it's always LaShawn McCoy is always my go-to person to tell everyone to pick up.
There you go.
Leads the NFL in TDs, so that's a good recommendation.
Yeah,
right,
definitely.
Of course. LaShawn's a great guy, and he's a great person to have on your fantasy team.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, Julie, how did you meet John, your husband, who's the long snapper?
John's the long snapper. This is a fun fact about John that not everyone out there knows. He's also a professional magician. So I met John. He was doing some magic tricks. I stayed for a few extra. I was definitely impressed by his magic, and now that I, know him as a football player, I'm equally as impressed with his long snapping.
Yeah, it's the holiday season. What advice do you want to give guys out there to buy their girlfriends, their wives, and stuff? What's neat stuff that us guys should be looking at for our women folk?
Girls love anything to do with clothes. So maybe if you don't have great style yourself, or you don't want to get the wrong size, you want to just give them what they want. So maybe a gift certificate to the mall even. That's a great idea.
Really? So we're not going to get slapped if we give them a cheesy Christmas card or holiday card and then throw in one of those plastic credit cards in there.
Yeah, you know what? Because that might not be considered thoughtful enough. So what about jewelry? That's always a hot item.
Really? So what are we talking about for jewelry? Are we talking bracelets, rings? What do you think we should? And what should be the monetary value? I mean, what says a lot for the gift?
It's not the price. It's just a thought. So if you pick out a piece of jewelry, if you can just explain to her why that jewelry reminded you of her, I think it's a win-win.
Fantastic.
Monetary value is not important. Just the reason and the thought behind it.
There you go. What about for guys? I mean, what are you going? Do you have any gifts for John for this coming holiday season that you want to share with us?
I'm actually going to get John some magic tricks. So there's some, pretty extensive magic tricks, and I'm going to get that. Guys like stuff for their car, anything of that nature. Typical guy stuff, electronics, always a good hit.
How is it in your household when the Eagles are doing well versus how they're doing right now?
It definitely affects the household. It's hard when these players give their heart out on the field for them not to bring it home. It definitely affects their whole attitude at home, but we try to stay positive. John is absolutely proud to play for such a great coach like Andy Reid, and the Eagles have been a dynasty for years and years and years, so it's just an honor for him to play for them, and, we're proud to be a part of the team, and we just look for the future.
No, that's good. And, of course, if you want to know more about Julie, or if you want to get online, Bob, and we want to vote for her or for some other one of the – I don't want to promote voting for one of the other hottest wives of the NFL because Julie's joining us.
I already made up my mind.
Yeah, I know you have. Bob, what message do we want to send folks to?
Well, we want to go to fantasyfootballsideline.com, and you can also visit our baseball site. We have it up there as well on fantasybaseballdugout.com.
Who are some of the other wives that are on that site besides Julie?
Well, there's really some interesting wives. Laurie Schaub was our champion last year. She's the wife of the Texans' injured quarterback, Matt Schaub. And, we even have some Olympic gold medalists on there with Heather Mitz in soccer and Sonia Richards, who is the wife of Aaron Moss of the New York Giants. So there's some real talented women there.
Friends with Heather Mitz because AJ played here in Philadelphia for a long time. So Heather's one of my good friends.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, That's interesting, you know.
So if you're not going to vote for me, vote for Heather.
I feel like right now, after talking with Bob and Julie and John, I feel like I need to go out shopping right now. You know, I don't know why, but shopping might be on my list. Yeah, definitely. What else do we want to talk about? I guess this interview brought to you by who's this interview brought to you by anyway? I gotta get my mind focused again. BallparkSweaters.com. And Uncle Bob, does Julie have a ballpark sweater?
No, but if she'd like one, we'd love to get her one. I understand she is a baseball fan as well.
I'm a huge Phillies fan.
Phillies
fan, Flyers fan, even Sixers fan.
If Uncle Bob sends you a sweater, could you send a picture of you in the sweater to us for our website?
Of course. I'll take a picture and send it in.
Fantastic. And we'll be voting for you perpetually for the rest of the weekend too. Before we leave you guys alone and stuff like that, Bob, any other thoughts before we leave on fantasy football right now, either you or John?
Well, no, I guess the important thing here in fantasy football is, you're getting into the playoffs starting next week. So